This happened to me last September, and I still check my hotel reservation 3 times before entering any room now. I'm 28, a freelance graphic designer, and I travel solo pretty frequently for client meetings. I was staying at a Marriott in downtown Seattle for a 3-day conference. I checked in around 2 p.m. on a Thursday. The front desk agent, a woman in her mid-30s, seemed distracted the entire time. She kept glancing at her phone while processing my ID and credit card. She handed me a key card and said, "Room 8 to 12, elevators are to your right," without even making eye contact. I took the elevator up, found room 8 to 12, and the card worked perfectly on the first try. The room looked recently cleaned, fresh towels, made bed, those little complimentary soaps arranged neatly. I threw my suitcase on the luggage rack and decided to take a quick shower before heading to the conference opening session. After my shower, I noticed something weird. There was a men's toiletry bag on the bathroom counter that I swear wasn't there before. Inside were a razor, shaving cream, and prescription medication with someone else's name on it. Mark Henderson. I figured housekeeping had accidentally left it from the previous guest, so I called the front desk to report it. The same woman answered. When I told her about the toiletry bag, there was this long pause. Then she said, "Sir, there shouldn't be anything in that room. Can you double-check the room number?" I told her I was definitely in 812, the room on my key card. Another pause. "Okay, I'll send someone up to collect it." 20 minutes passed. No one came. I went down to the conference, came back around 7 p.m., and that's when things got disturbing. I opened the door to find a man sitting on my bed, watching TV. He looked about 45, business casual, completely calm. He looked at me and said, "Can I help you?" I was so confused. I said, "This is my room. I checked in this afternoon." He stood up, pulled out his phone, and showed me his mobile check-in confirmation. Room 8112, check-in date, Wednesday, the day before me. My blood went cold. I immediately went back down to the lobby, and this time a different person was at the desk, a younger guy. I explained everything, showed him my key card and confirmation email. He looked at his computer and his face went pale. He said, "Sir, according to our system, you're checked into room 821, not 812. But my key card said 812. The card worked on 812. I even showed him the physical card. He took it, scanned it, and his confused expression deepened. This card is programmed for 812, but this doesn't make sense. You shouldn't have been given access to an occupied room." They moved me to a different room immediately and apologized profusely. But here's where it gets worse. Over the next 2 days, I started noticing charges on my credit card that I didn't make. Room service I never ordered. Pay-per-view movies I never watched. Spa services I never used. All charged to room 812. When I confronted the front desk on my checkout day, they claimed they'd already refunded those charges, but they hadn't. I had to dispute over $800 worth of fraudulent charges with my credit card company. The hotel claimed it was a system error during my stay, but I did some digging. I found Mark Henderson on LinkedIn. His profile said he was an IT consultant who frequently stayed at that exact Marriott. I sent him a message asking if he'd stayed there in September. He responded immediately. "Yeah, why? Did something happen? That hotel has been weird lately." I asked him what he meant. He said that during his last 3 stays there, he'd noticed small things missing from his room. His laptop charger, his phone, even his wallet once, though it was found by housekeeping the next day with all the cash missing. He reported it to management, but they claimed their security cameras showed no one entering his room. I never got a clear answer from the hotel about how I was given access to an occupied room. The front desk agent who checked me in, she no longer worked there when I called to follow up. I filed a complaint with corporate, but nothing came of it. To this day, I wonder if someone was deliberately giving my card access to occupied rooms to steal from guests. And I wonder how many other people this happened to. I still check my credit card statements obsessively. And I always verify my room number matches my key card now. My girlfriend and I took a weekend trip to Savannah, Georgia last February for Valentine's Day. We booked a supposedly haunted historic hotel because we both love that kind of stuff. We're not exactly believers in the paranormal, but we thought it would be a fun, spooky experience. We were wrong. We arrived Friday evening around 6 p.m. The hotel was this old converted mansion from the 1800s, beautiful but definitely creepy. The check-in process was normal. They gave us a key to room 314 on the 3rd floor. The front desk clerk, an older man probably in his 60s, handed us the key and said, "Enjoy your stay. Breakfast is from 7 to 10. No mention of the room number, no directions, nothing unusual." We took the old elevator up. The 3rd floor hallway was dimly lit with these vintage-style wall sconces. We found room 314 at the end of the hall, last door on the left. The room was gorgeous. 4-poster bed, antique furniture, a big window overlooking the courtyard. We were thrilled. That first night we went out for dinner, came back around 10 p.m. and decided to watch a movie on the TV. That's when we noticed something odd. The TV remote had the hotel logo on it, but the logo was different from what we saw in the lobby. Not dramatically different, just off, like an older version of the same design. Around 1 a.m., we heard footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, deliberate footsteps. They'd walk past our door, pause for about 10 seconds, then walk back. This went on for maybe 20 minutes. Finally, I opened the door to see who it was. The hallway was empty, completely empty. My girlfriend laughed it off. Old building, weird acoustics, whatever. We went to sleep. The next morning, we woke up and decided to grab breakfast. We left the room and headed toward the elevator. But here's the thing. The hallway looked different. I can't explain exactly how, but the carpet pattern seemed off. The wall sconces were in slightly different positions, and there was a painting near the elevator that I swear wasn't there the night before. We got in the elevator, pressed the button for the lobby, and when the doors opened, we weren't in the lobby. We were in a basement level, concrete walls, flickering fluorescent lights, what looked like old storage. The elevator panel only showed 3 buttons, B1 and 2, no button for the 3rd floor. My girlfriend pressed the button for the 1st floor. The elevator went up, doors opened, and we were in the actual lobby. We went straight to the front desk. The same clerk from the night before was there. I said, "Hey, the elevator was acting weird. Took us to the basement when we pressed lobby." He looked confused. "Sir, this building doesn't have a basement. The elevator only goes to the 1st and 2nd floors." I said we were on the 3rd floor, in room 314. He looked at his computer, then looked at me like I was insane. "Sir, this hotel only has 2 floors. There is no 3rd floor, and there is no room 314. I pulled out the keycard from my pocket. It had 314 written on the little paper sleeve. He took it, tried to scan it. His computer showed nothing. "Where did you get this?" he asked, his voice now serious. We took him to the elevator. We pressed every button, only 2 floors. We took the stairs, only 2 floors. There was no 3rd floor. The building physically did not have a 3rd floor, but we had been in that room. We'd slept there, our luggage was still up there. The clerk called his manager. They insisted we stay calm and that they'd figure this out. The manager asked us to describe the room. We described everything. The 4-poster bed, the antique mirror, the window overlooking the courtyard. The manager's face went white. She pulled out her phone, showed us a photo. "Is this the room?" It was exactly the room. She said, "This was room 314. It was part of the original building, but that section was demolished in 1987 after a fire. 3 people died in that fire. This photo is from our historical archives." My girlfriend started crying. I felt like I was going to throw up. The manager said we weren't the first people to report staying in room 314. Every few years, a couple checks in for Valentine's weekend and reports staying in a 3rd floor room that doesn't exist. She said the previous owners tried to remove the floor from the elevator panel, but sometimes it reappears. They refunded us everything and offered us a different room for the night. We declined. We packed our things, which somehow reappeared in the lobby, and we left. We never talked about it again until last month, when I saw a news article about that same hotel. Another couple had reported staying in a non-existent 3rd floor room on Valentine's weekend. I reached out to them. They described the exact same experience. I don't know what we stayed in that night, but it wasn't a hotel room. I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, so I stay in hotels constantly. I've learned to ignore most of the weird little things that happen. Strange noises, flickering lights, the occasional musty smell. Comes with the territory. But what happened at a comfort suites in rural Pennsylvania last November didn't just scare me. It's still happening. I checked in late around 11 p.m. after a long drive from Pittsburgh. The night shift guy at the desk looked like he hadn't slept in days. Bloodshot eyes, hands shaking slightly as he processed my card. When he handed me the key card for room 203, he held onto it for a second too long and said, "Checkout is at 11 a.m., not 11:01, not 10:59, exactly 11 a.m. You understand?" I thought he was just being weirdly specific about hotel policy. I said sure and headed up. Room 203 was at the end of the second floor hallway. The door had this weird gap at the bottom, like someone had installed it wrong. I could see light from the hallway bleeding underneath even when I turned off all the lights in the room. Around 1 a.m. I woke up to that light changing, like someone was walking past my door very slowly, blocking the light, then moving on, back and forth, for 20 minutes straight. I finally got up and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty, completely empty, but I could still see shadows moving under the door. At 2:30 a.m., my phone started getting notifications, charges on my credit card, $47 from the hotel restaurant, $89 from the hotel bar, $156 for room service. I hadn't ordered anything. I called the front desk. No answer, just ringing. I tried 5 times, nothing. I decided to go down to the lobby myself. I opened my door, and the hallway was freezing, like I could see my breath. It was at least 30 degrees colder than inside my room. I went to the elevator, pressed the button. The elevator came up, doors opened, and there was someone already inside, a hotel maintenance worker, wearing one of those gray jumpsuits. He was facing the back wall of the elevator. He didn't turn around, didn't acknowledge me. I stood there for a second, then decided to take the stairs instead. Something felt really wrong. As I walked toward the stairwell, I heard the elevator doors close behind me. Then I heard it descending. But here's the thing. This hotel only has 2 floors. There's no basement. Where was it going? I took the stairs down. The lobby was empty. No one at the front desk. The computer was on, showing what looked like security camera feeds, but the screens were all static. I walked around the desk to get a better look. That's when I noticed room 203, my room, was showing a live feed. And there was someone in my room, standing at the foot of the bed, just standing there. I ran back upstairs. My door was still closed and locked. I burst in, turned on every light, nobody there. But my suitcase was open. My clothes were folded differently, and my laptop was open to my banking website, even though I specifically remembered closing it. I grabbed my stuff and went back to the lobby to check out immediately. Still nobody at the desk. I left my keycard on the counter and literally ran to my car. As I was driving away, I looked in my rearview mirror. Every window in the hotel was dark except for one. Room 203. The light was on, and I swear I saw someone standing at the window, watching me leave. The next morning, I checked my credit card. More charges. $220 for a 2-night stay extension, $67 for breakfast, $340 for incidentals. I called the hotel to dispute the charges. A woman answered, very professional, said she'd look into it. She asked for my name and reservation number. After a pause, she said, "Sir, according to our records, you checked out at 11 a.m. as scheduled. There are no additional charges." But I was looking at my banking app. The charges were right there. I took screenshots and emailed them to her. She called me back 20 minutes later and said, "Sir, we've reviewed the footage. You're still checked into room 203. You never left." I told her that was impossible. I left at 2:45 a.m. My car's GPS history proves it. She said, "Our cameras show you entering the room at 11:17 p.m. last night. You never came out. You're in that room right now." That's when I started to panic. I asked her to send me the footage. She said hotel policy didn't allow that, but she could describe what she was seeing. You're sitting on the bed. You've been sitting there for hours, just staring at the wall. I hung up. I was in my apartment 200 miles away. I wasn't in that hotel, but the charges kept coming. Every single day. $180 for room charges, $40 for parking, $25 for Wi-Fi. Every day for the past 11 months. I've disputed them with my credit card company 8 times. They keep telling me the charges are legitimate, that my card was physically used at the hotel location. I've cancelled that card 3 times. They just start charging a different card. Cards I've never given to that hotel. Cards I opened after this happened. Last week, I got a package at my apartment. No return address. Inside was a Comfort Suites keycard for room 203 and a printed receipt showing I'm currently on day 338 of my stay. The total balance due is $64,185. At the bottom, handwritten in red ink, checkout is at 11 a.m. You're late. I called the hotel again yesterday, asked to speak to a manager. The same woman answered. Before I could say anything, she said, "Room 203, you have a noise complaint from the room next door. Please keep it down." I wasn't making any noise. I was in my apartment. I asked what noise she was talking about. She paused, then said in a whisper, "It sounds like screaming." Then she hung up. I've tried calling back. The number is disconnected. I looked up the hotel address online. According to Google Maps, there's no hotel at that location, just an empty lot. But I have the receipts, I have the key card, I have the charges on my bank statement. And 2 days ago, my boss called. Said I never showed up to my territory meetings for the past 3 weeks. Said clients have been complaining that I've been unresponsive, but I've been going to every meeting. I've been doing my job, at least I think I have. I'm starting to wonder if the woman on the phone was right. Maybe I never left room 203. Maybe I'm still there. And whatever is living in my apartment, going to my meetings, writing this story, isn't me at all. I don't know what to do. The charges are still coming. $180 every single day. If you're reading this and you ever stay at a hotel where the night clerk is very specific about checkout time, where the hallways are freezing cold, where your room is 203, please check out exactly when they tell you to. Because I don't think I'm ever checking out. This happened during spring break 2023. Me and 3 of my college friends, Jake, Marcus and Tyler, decided to take a road trip to New Orleans. We're all 22, wanted one last wild trip before graduation. We found a cheap hotel on the outskirts of the French Quarter. It was one of those old converted buildings with like 8 rooms total. Very small, very cheap, very sketchy in hindsight. We checked in Thursday afternoon. The owner, this ancient woman who must have been 80, gave us 2 rooms on the 2nd floor. Rooms 4 and 5 right next to each other. She said breakfast was included and that checkout was at 10 a.m. sharp. She emphasized the sharp part. Weird, but okay. The first 2 nights were great. We partied on Bourbon Street, ate amazing food, did all the touristy stuff. No issues. But Saturday night, Tyler said he was too tired to go out. He'd been feeling sick all day, said he probably got food poisoning from the oysters we ate. He told us to go without him, that he'd just sleep it off. We left around 9 p.m. Tyler texted us around 11 saying he felt a bit better and was watching TV. We got back to the hotel at 3 a.m. We were pretty drunk, tried to be quiet going up the stairs. I knocked on Tyler's door to check on him. No answer. I figured he was asleep, so we went to our room. The next morning, I texted Tyler to see if he wanted to grab breakfast with us. No response. I called him. Straight to voicemail, I knocked on his door. No answer. I tried calling again. Still nothing. That's when I started to worry. I went down to the lobby and told the owner that my friend in room 5 wasn't answering. She said she'd get the master key. We went up together. She unlocked the door. The room was empty. Like, completely empty. No luggage, no clothes, no sign that anyone had been there. Even the bed was made. I said there must be some mistake. Tyler was definitely in this room last night. I showed her his texts from this room number. She looked at her reservation book and said, "Room 5 has been empty all weekend. You boys only booked room 4. That's impossible. We definitely booked 2 rooms. I showed her our confirmation email on my phone. It clearly said we had rooms 4 and 5. She looked at her computer and showed me their record. Only room 4 was booked under my name. Marcus and Jake came upstairs. We searched the entire hotel, all 8 rooms. Tyler wasn't anywhere. We called the police. They took a report but seemed skeptical. They asked if Tyler might have gone home without telling us, if we'd had a fight, if he had any reason to disappear. We said no to everything. The police checked the hotel's security cameras. Here's the part that still doesn't make sense. The cameras showed us coming back at 3 a.m., but they never showed Tyler entering the hotel at any point during our entire stay. Not Thursday when we checked in, not at any point after. It was like he was never there. But we had photos of him from earlier in the trip. I had texts from him. I even had a charge on my credit card from Friday night when we'd split an Uber and he'd Venmo'd me his half. The police couldn't explain it. Tyler's parents filed a missing persons report. It's been almost 2 years. He's never been found. His phone last pinged from the area of that hotel Saturday night. His bank accounts haven't been touched. His social media went dark. It's like he vanished into thin air. The worst part? About 6 months ago, Jake got a Facebook message request from a profile with no picture. The message said, "I'm still in the hotel." It was sent from Tyler's old account. When we tried to respond, the account was deleted. I've driven past that hotel a few times. It's abandoned now, boarded up. There's a for sale sign that looks like it's been there for years. I've never had the courage to go inside, but sometimes I wonder if Tyler's still in there. In room 5, the room that supposedly never existed.